Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling fans tuning in worldwide. My name's Andre Corbeil of WrestlingWithWrestling.com, and you know, when I'm chilling out, I'm hanging with the Jammin' Music Man.
What's up, guys? It's me, Jammin' Music Man, and welcome to my special new video. And in this video, I'm giving you guys a compilation video of some of my favorite wrestling interviews that I've done over the years. And in this video, you're going to see wrestling superstars like Buff Bagwell. You're going to see Glacier. You're going to see former WCW announcer Scott Hudson. And, wait for it, you're going to see probably the greatest tag team of all time. You're going to see the Rock and Roll Express. So you guys are going to want to tune in and check out some of these great interviews. So enough of the talk. Let's take you guys back in time to check out some of these great wrestling interviews. And I'll see you at the end of the video. Enjoy. What's up, Buff?
Hey, buddy, what's going on?
So what are you doing here at the OSW tonight?
Man, it was good to be in Georgia for a change, man. I don't get a whole lot of times being in Georgia, so it's a lot of fun to come back to Georgia, and you know, this is where I'm from, so I love being here, and I love what they've done down here. They built a great thing down here, and it's good found. The fan base is phenomenal, and the OSW I love because it follows kind of like the NWO thing, and I really like what they built down here. So, you know, anytime that I take part of something, I really take time to make sure the organization's good, and this company's really on top of their game and very professional, and it's hard to find in the independent world, and this place is phenomenal, and just glad to be here, man. Glad to be here.
Very cool. Can I ask you a few fan
Sure,
questions?
man, go ahead.
Out of all your tag partners, who would be the one tag partner you would like to team up one more time?
That's a toughie. You gotta realize I was a world tag team champion with every one of them.
Correct.
Let's go that route first.
Correct.
That's pretty big. So, but I think ultimately, me and Scotty probably had the best
American
chemistry.
Males?
Yeah, I mean Steiner. Riggs was great too. That's why it's so hard. But me and Scotty were nitro, and we had some of the best skits with the wheelchair and the McGuire, and I think overall, me and Scotty Steiner, that was the best tag team. And we were never champions, but Riggs would be number 2 for sure. American Males was a big stepping stone for me. It was an era of goatees and earrings were baby faces. That was very rare in the early 90s. You know, facial hair meant bad guy. So I had to teach them that earrings and facial hair could be good guys. It was a new change, which we proved that with NWO. We were all black and mean. The fans loved us. So it was a new era. It was different. I try to tell them that American Males was right before NWO, so it was. I taught them that facial hair and
Vicious and delicious.
Vicious and delicious, baby. Me and Scott Morton, a little kid came up with that in Chicago. Came up to us and he went, "Vicious and delicious." And I said, "What'd you say?" I wrote it down, went straight home, and airbrushed everything delicious.
That's cool.
Because I was obviously delicious. He was the vicious one.
All right. Out of all your matches, what was your favorite match you ever been in?
I can't say favorite matches, no way, man. I had 11 years of being on the top of the talent world. Ric Flair's to Macho Man's to Hulk Hogan's. I mean, Goldberg, Steiner's. I mean, Road Warriors. I've seen them all, wrestled them all. There's no way I can say a match. I'd have just to go with just the NWO. Just that era of what we did was like being part of a family, and it was incredible when we came out, the response we got. So just that NWO thing was just phenomenal. When I got selected and coming into the NWO would have been my favorite thing ever. Getting inducted to them was great.
Back in the WCW days, what was your favorite pay-per-view that you look forward to doing?
I liked Halloween Havoc.
Yeah.
Because you could do, because it was Halloween, you could do trick things, and it was just more of a trickster kind of pay-per-view, and mask and Halloween, and the set was cool and scary, and so I just always loved that. Plus that, I had one of my best matches ever on Halloween Havoc with Too Cold Scorpio. We became world tag team champions against the Nasty Boys. With
93.
Yes, it was one of the best matches, tag matches I've ever had in my life. If you got a chance to go back to 1993 and watch a match with me and Too Cold Scorpio versus the Nasty Boys and Missy Hyatt, it was one of the best matches of my entire life.
The original diva.
The original diva.
Yeah.
She got me into wrestling.
Really?
She moved in next door to me. It's in her book. She moved in next door to me and got me into pro wrestling.
All right, I'll give you one last question.
Okay.
Who's a current wrestling superstar you would like to get in the ring with?
Orton. I like Randy Orton.
Cool.
I think he's really. I think he reminds me of me a lot. He's one of the few guys I really like up there a lot. So I'd like to wrestle him, of course, because he reminds me of me, and I like him. He's very cocky, but very, very cool. He's got a good swagger. He's got a good body. He's a good wrestler, and he just reminds me of me, and I like him. So by liking him, I like to wrestle him.
All right, Buff. Well, thank you for the interview,
and
man.
Remember, I'm Buff, and I'm still the stuff.
And hopefully one day you'll be in the Hall of Fame.
Without a doubt.
Too sweet, man. Thank you.
Too sweet.
All right.
Boom.
So Glacier, what brings you to Wrestle America tonight?
Well, I'm a Georgia boy, and so I just recently moved back from Florida up to Atlanta, Georgia, and Wrestle America is really their big home arena. Their hometown is really kind of Lawrenceville, which is not too far from Atlanta. So, Doc Gallows has become a good friend of mine. He runs a good wrestling show, a good family show, the way that I think wrestling should be, the way that I fell in love with wrestling as a kid, and so any kind of show like that I can help be a part of, to make it a good family experience for wrestling fans. That's what I want to do. I want to be a part of something good that I can be proud of, because a wrestling show should be for someone who's 5 years old to 95 years old, and this is what Wrestle America brings to the public.
Who are some of your wrestling heroes growing up?
You know what? I mean, I was lucky. I grew up right on the Georgia-Florida line in Brunswick, Georgia. So I got to see Georgia Championship Wrestling and Championship Wrestling from Florida. But like so many kids in the 70s, my big hero was Dusty Rhodes and Evel Knievel, the king of the Daredevils. So fortunately, I got to meet Evel Knievel back when he was living, which was a real cool experience. And then anybody that's followed my career probably knows that when Dusty started Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling, I actually was able to go to work for him, be his right-hand guy with Turnbuckle, and that was a great experience for me. And of course, Dusty recently passed away. I really miss him a lot. He was someone who really transcended wrestling. You didn't have to preface Dusty's name with the words "the pro wrestler." Everybody kind of knew who he was, and I felt very, very blessed to have known him.
What's a Dusty Rhodes memory you could share with us? Something that we don't know.
Gosh, man, there's so many. I tell you, one of my all-time favorites is when I was traveling with Dusty one time. He was getting ready to tell me a story about him and Harley Race, and he always called me Raymond. He said, "Raymond, I was in St. Louis, Missouri, getting ready to wrestle Harley Race. We were main event. It was sold out." And then he just stops dead. He looks at me with the most serious face. He said, "Raymond, it's very important whenever you tell the pro wrestling story, you always main event. It was always sold out." So that's why one of my favorite Dusty stories.
Here's a question for you. Are you still friends with Ernest the Cat Miller?
I am very good friends with Ernest the Cat. We just did WrestleCade together up in Carolina a few weeks ago, and I'm back in Atlanta. He's here in Atlanta. So we get together on a regular basis. We bust each other's chops a little bit, but he's an awesome guy. I feel very, very honored to have tag team with him in WCW, and even more honored to call him a friend. He's a great guy.
Here's a question for you. Did you get your training at the power plant?
I didn't break in at the power plant. I was already in wrestling for almost 10 years before I signed with WCW, but yes, I trained a lot at the power plant once I signed my deal. Diamond Dallas Page, very good friend of mine, really like family to me. He's the one that really helped me get my foot in the door at WCW, but that was one of the conditions, that if I got a contract, the days I wasn't on the road, I'd be down at the power plant. And I tell you what, it was time well spent, because the power plant was every bit as tough as everybody's heard. And I feel very proud to have come through the other side of it, all still in one piece.
All right, got one last question for you. What was your favorite WCW match you ever had?
Without a doubt, for me, I had a lot of great matches. My time in WCW was an amazing experience. But I think everybody wrestles with that one match that you consider as close to perfect as possible. To me, it was Bash at the Beach '97, where it was me and Ernest Miller against Wrath and Morton. And it was just, if you go back and watch that match, we kicked off the pay-per-view with the first match, and we really set the bar very high for that pay-per-view. And it was a match I'm very, very proud of.
Is there anything you want to say in closing?
I just want to say to all the wrestling fans out there, thank you so much for everybody that ever took time to come watch me wrestle. Because without you doing your part and coming to support us in the wrestling business, my dream wouldn't have come true. So thank all of you.
Alright guys, I'm here with the WCW announcing legend himself, Scott Hudson. Scott, thank you for doing this interview, buddy.
My absolute pleasure, James. Thank you. Thanks for coming out.
Some of you guys might remember from the final years of WCW, you were there. So what have you been doing now since the end of WCW?
When I was doing WCW, I had a real job. I'm been to college for a million years and stay in school. So I did WCW just as a hobby, like anybody else. Just did it because I was a fan. I still am, and I still have my job and a wife and a daughter and a life.
Are you still in contact with Tony Schiavone?
Yeah.
Bobby Green?
Not Bobby so much, but I'm still in contact with Tony, with Mike Tenay, with Larry Zbyszko, with Mark Madden, with the old announcing crew. We still communicate mostly by email and text and tumble and that sort of stuff, but we have fond memories of each other and love each other a lot.
What's some of your favorite WCW memories that you recall?
Every memory of WCW that I have that's positive usually happened backstage or at the hotel or in the bar or in the cab or on the plane. What happened in the ring, everybody saw that. You can't beat that. That was great fun. But the memories that I have that we still talk about, what happened in the airport when we were playing pranks on Gene Okerlund, that sort of stuff. I miss those guys so much. I miss those days.
Were you there on the final WCW Nitro?
Absolutely.
What was it like that night behind the scenes?
It was surreal. We knew it was the last night. We had been told that we were done, that we weren't coming back. And for me, I was just going to work the next day. But for everybody else, it was their career, and they had to go find something else to do. So it was losing your job, but you can find another job, but it was knowing that you're never going to be with your friends again.
It was one of the saddest nights of wrestling.
It was, I agree. It was a lot of tears backstage, a lot.
But how do you feel about the state of wrestling right now? Are you a fan?
It's finally get back to the point where I enjoy it, especially with Mauro Ranallo coming over from New Japan to be the host of SmackDown. I'm a huge fan of Mauro, and with the changes and the new talent that the WWE is bringing in that we all know about, and who we've seen debut, and the shocking debuts we've seen. I'm not seeing that, but they've elevated the right talent and brought in the right talent all across the platform, and I'm really excited. And Ring of Honor the same way, TNA the same way, and Lucha Underground coming back for season 2, New Japan showing up on TV in America. It's a great time to be a fan.
Before we close, can we follow you on Twitter?
Follow me on Facebook. Yeah,
Facebook.
That's the only one I do.
All right. Well, Scott, thank you, man.
My pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
Wrestling announcing legend right here, Scott Hudson.
Thanks.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Are you on Twitter?
No, I just do Facebook.
Well, when I get the video, I'll send it to you. I'll look for you on Facebook.
All right, I'll take it.
Thank you, Scott.
Appreciate it.
Robert Gibson from the Rock and Roll Express. How you doing, Robert?
Doing good, man.
What brings you to Barnesville, Georgia?
Man, Barnesville, what brings me here is all the wrestling fans. Look for the wrestling fans and what we know Rock and Roll Express. I'm glad to be here. We'll kick a little butt, maybe do a couple double drop hits and rock and roll.
Well, let's talk about your career. When did you get started? In the 70s?
I got started in 78. Me and Rick have been together since 1982. And started training when I was 12 years old. Turned professional when I was 17.
What do you consider some of your best matches with the Rock and Roll Express?
Man, there's been so many. I think the most important one is when we won the World Tag Team title for the first time. People say Rock and Roll Express, you're too small, you're too little. I've never become world champions. I only do it once. We've done it 8 different times.
Another one of my favorite Rock and Roll Express matches were you and the Midnight Express in the scaffold matches. What's some of your memories from the scaffold
match? Some of them were 20 foot tall, some were 25. And I like to go up high. Heights don't bother me. or I will not go up on their house. I got claustrophobic. And Ricky's just the opposite. The higher up, the more scared he got. So I'd get up there and I'd shake and he'd holler, "Stop it, Robert, stop it."
So who were some other teams that you feuded with back in the day that you enjoyed wrestling with?
Four Horsemen, Manny Fernandez and Rick Rude.
Fabulous Freebirds.
Oh, you can't leave them out. It was pretty wild. And back then there were so many great tag teams. It was a pleasure to be back in the 80s.
How do you feel about like today's tag teams, like the Young Bucks? Do you see like some of yourself in the Young Bucks?
Well, I watch them. They need to go back and study some films and watch the rock and roll. I ain't bragging, but tag teams kind of faded out. They're trying. They're doing good. And every time I see them, I give them some pointers to try to help them out. But God bless you. I got to go in the back.
All right, Robert.
Take care.
Appreciate it, buddy. All right, guys. It's me, Jammin' Music Man, the legend himself, Ricky Morton from the Rock and Roll Express. How you doing, Ricky?
Man, appreciate it, buddy. Thank you for having me.
Fan of yours, fan of Rock and Roll Express.
Well, cool.
How you doing?
How am I doing? I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
I'm doing
You a
good,
little
man.
nervous?
A little bit.
You know, I know you're here to talk about wrestling and people, and you heard this said many times in your life. You know, if you love what you're doing, you don't work a day in your life. Well, that's a bunch of bull crap. You got to have a big saving account if you do something like that. Well, I wrestle, love wrestling. This is what I do. Man. What's up?
What's up? Well, let's talk about your career, man. How long you been wrestling?
Dude, I've been wrestling. Be truthfully with you, it's been a little over 40 years.
Long time.
I'm almost 60 years old. I came out of a wrestling family. My dad was a professional wrestler and referee out of Memphis. I started to wrestle. As a matter of fact, I have my own wrestling school now, which my son, School of Morton, and my son,
School of Morton on Facebook.
I have my son that goes there that probably be going in my footsteps. But other than that, I have a lot of great guys there. Anybody out here listening, if you see this right here, go on Facebook, School of Morton, check it out, man. It's wild and it's live. Okay?
All right, well, let's talk about you and the Rock and Roll Express. How long have y'all been together?
Robert and I have been partners about 35 years, somewhere in that vicinity. And understand me when I say partners, that means wrestling partners. We are for 35 years. Seen a lot of things. We watched the business change a lot together, and especially over the 40 years. You know, you watched it go from here to there. But I think our wrestling business is tremendously good. It's, you know, people ask you about it's not really no difference, you know, from old school and the new school. It's neither one. It's called the right way. And as you watch on TV, I'm not put these guys over. I'm not here to insult anybody's intelligence. You know, we are entertainers. But you look at these guys on TV, they all are professional athletes. And you mean this, you know, you see a lot of guys that go into the independent circuit where they run wrestling shows, and they got about as much business wrestling as me flying a space shuttle. You know, a lot of them. It's what makes our business look bad. But don't look at that. You stop and look at people like Big Time Wrestling, School of Morton, you know, Robert's got wrestling up in Douglasville, Georgia. People can check him out on Facebook too.
How does Ricky Morton, how does he feel about like companies like Ring of Honor?
Oh, I like Ring of Honor. You don't understand me. That's a stepping stone to get where you're going. I like businesses like that, but I'm talking about a guy that's over here that's about much shape. You know, he can't even walk over here. They run a wrestling show, and what really kills me is we did shows like the fairs. That we know that we depended on that to make a living. Then these guys come in, these outlaw independent guys, and they do the fair for free. Well, dude, you just took food off our tables. This is what we always did for our life. Just for you to have a Saturday night special one night, you can kiss my butt. But check it out, man. I love Ring of Honor. I love WWE.
How do you feel about the Young Bucks? Do you see Young Rock and Roll Express team like Young Bucks?
It's a whole different era, like I'm saying. For their day and time, yes. You know, for our day and time, it was right. These guys are great. But understand me, if you want to be a professional wrestler, like I just said, you got to train. You got to be a professional athlete to do what we do. This stuff is hard. It's not only about the part of wrestling in the ring. It's a part about you got to get your head straight for the travel. You have to learn to talk. You got to get down. You got to turn it on when it's time to. Our game and our business is about putting butts in seats. It's about getting ratings on TV. Until these guys learn how to do that, until you get down what we're doing in our business, it's no need to try, because all you're doing is hurting us. Okay? But I love what I do. He's going to ask me about the scaffold matches.
Yeah,
but you know what? I was too busy holding on to know what you're going to do.
Let's talk about the scaffold matches back in the 80s. Love those matches.
Well, that was a great deal. We started them out first. Before you even seen it in NWA, Crockett Promotions, we worked for Bill Watts, Mid-South Wrestling out of Louisiana. And yes, sir, we sure did. And our booker at the time was the superstar Bill Dundee. And Bill, if you're out there listening, let's thank you. Because Bill really gave us our first break in the business. Now, Jerry Lawler made us the Rock and Roll Express. But Bill Dundee had enough faith in us that he took us to Louisiana. And brother, did we pop that territory. So understand me, Bill, Superstar Dundee, and Bill Watts, because what you guys see later, we already done it before Louisiana. That's the reason we come to NWA. Excuse me. It was easy, not easy, but we already busted that territory wide open, and it was time to come on. But the scaffold matches, dude, understand me, I'm scared of heights.
Oh, yeah.
And what I was telling you all ago, to remember the matches, I was too busy trying to hold on. It was good matches, it was different, very high, very dangerous.
Oh, yes.
But it was a different era in our time, and it's what built to be our business to what it is today.
What do you think about your feud with the Midnight Express? Who was the best Express? Was it the Rock and Roll Express, or was it the Midnight
But you know,
Express?
before we even get there, I want to tell you something, and it's about all of them.
Okay.
The Midnight Express, the Russians, the Four Horsemen. You see, people ask me all the time, what's the best match, or what is a good thing that you've seen, and what's the best wrestler you've wrestled? See, buddy, back then, everybody was great. Everybody had their character. Everybody did their character, just in different ways. They all were great. But I got to say this, and I would say this from the heart. The feud with the Midnight Express with Jimmy Cornette would go down in wrestling history. Nobody says the Express is the Expresses. Understand it was just two great tag teams wrestling each other, and that's what went down. The best manager ever in the world, the best talker, one of the best minds for our business, Mr. Jimmy Cornette. And did a lot. Jimmy did a lot for us in this business. You know, it's what people don't understand. You know, understand that we had the big feuds with the Midnight Express, but you don't understand what Jimmy Cornette done for the Rock and Roll Express, and what the Rock and Roll Express done for Jimmy Cornette and Midnight Express. It made us famous, I guess. And dude, I want to thank you for your time.
Nope, no
I got
problem.
to get ready.
All right. One last question.
Okay.
What's some Dusty Rhodes memories you can share with us there?
I mean, the American Dream, baby.
Yeah.
Dusty
Wind
Rhodes
it down with Kings and Queens.
you got to
slept on
understand that
alleys
when you
before.
come to charisma in our business, Dusty Rhodes was the best. Dusty Rhodes had a great mind for our business too. He's the one that booked the NWA back in the days when we sold out the Great American Bashes and we did everything else.
He came up with a lot of the names.
Dusty Rhodes is no doubt one of the best talkers ever in this business. If you wind him down, Dusty Rhodes was my friend, and Dusty Rhodes helped make our business what it is today. All right.
Thank you,
buddy.
Ricky, man.
My pleasure,
Good luck
buddy.
tonight. Alright, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to give this video a like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Also, I'll put a link to my Instagram and my Twitter in the description box below. So go follow me on those sites. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for subscribing. And I will see you guys all in the next video.